Hi everybody, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavors for the 14th of March. We've got a 15 seal set. As always, there'll be timestamps in the description if you just want to fast forward to one of these in particular, if you're stuck on that one. I don't know what's going on with my voice. I think I'm losing my voice at the moment, so usually that precedes a cold, so I guess we'll see how that goes. But yeah, probably won't be 100% for this one. It's a bit of a shitty set. A couple of good options, but a couple of annoying ones, especially if you don't have any DLC. So we've got Vampires, killing a player in Cyrodiil, Excavate 2 Antiquities, just regular Antiquities, which is good. Completing a Durables Masterette, this is I'd say the better option, but it just depends. And then improving items. So if I were you, I'd do Vampires, improve items, and then Antiquities. Unless you've got 50 in any of the durables, preferably enchanting. I think that's the best to do. I'll talk about that. But yeah, I think this one's the worst option, just because it's unreliable. Players are smart. They're not like vampires or whatever. They don't just stand around and let you kill them. But I'll just go through that in a little, just a base rundown of that one. But honestly, if you don't like PvP, because it's just Cyrodiil, right? It's not like Battlegrounds and Imperial City and shit. If you don't really like this one, just skip it. It's only 15 seals, who cares? So we'll start with the simplest ones. We'll go improve items, and I'll also talk about a Durables Master, right? Durables Master Writs, you need to be level 50 and have the appropriate passives in each of the skill lines in order to be able to do this. That's why this one's a bit questionable, right? So I know not everyone's got maxed out crafts. That's the issue. Now, if I would choose, like if you've got a choice, if all your crafts are maxed out and you don't have a Durables Master Writ, my advice to you is get yourself, if you can find one, a sealed enchanting writ. These are better, I think, than any of the other ones, because the amount of preparation required to get to the stage where you can do this is just to get in 50 in enchanting, which is a bit painful. But comparing this to getting every research trait, the styles, I mean, jewelry crafting is also quite good, but especially the others, woodworking, blacksmithing, clothing, the styles, the traits, in a small aspect, getting these access to the sets, but you can just get a guild hall for that. But I find these to be a little bit harder. With jewelry, it's just traits. You don't have to worry about styles. You do have to worry about traits, and some of those can be really expensive though. But usually these give you enough Writ vouchers for it to be worth it. And they're also, you can only, you can only get them for yeah, whatever. So the reason I like sealed enchanting writs over any of the other options is the only thing that you need are the runes, and in obviously the sealed writ as well. And there's only like a few runes that are redonkulously expensive. Every other rune is usually pretty good. Like worst case scenario, the common ones with like 100 gold, 150 gold maybe for one of them. But in most cases you'll be fine. So, for example, this one here, increased physical harm. I don't have a Taderi for it. That's the only issue. But if we go to my handy-dandy inventory insight here, you'll see I've got a Taderi on one of my other characters. So I can easily do that. So I'm just going to... That's the thing. I don't have ESO Plus, so I can't just have everything in the craft bag. So it's a bit more time spent. So I'll just swap over and get that real quick. Checking... Yeah, I got storage here. So... just go to Derry at the bottom. I assume she's got the recruiter as well. I should also point out with the sealed jewelry enchants, sealed jewelry writs, you need some set obviously for that one. That's also a bit painful there. But honestly, if you can get enchanting or any of the other ones, that's fine. And do keep in mind with the blacksmithing, clothing, or woodworking ones, also for the jewelry ones too, that will count as improving an item. And it will account for improving the whole endeavor, because you might have seen it said 0 out of 2, so you need to improve twice. But what will happen is you'll craft an item, it'll be white quality, it will go from white to green, green to blue, and blue to purple, and possibly gold if you're going to use one of those sealed writs. So you will do more than 2 improvements to get to the item to the stage which you need for the quest. So you can do those 2 at once, but obviously you need the trait and the style. So you need to be very, very careful going through when you buy sealed writs, because if you don't have the styles, then obviously you can't do it, right? So, for example, like the Jewelry Crafter writ, you could do this one here. I just don't have an Orvic Amber. These things are fucking expensive, Orbic hammers are. So try not to go infused ones, because they are usually super expensive. Orbic Amber, see all these Orbic Amber, that's why these ones are all here, because it's like the fucking worst trait. That's like the worst trait stone. Slaughter Stone's kind of expensive as well. Sealed Woodworking Writ in gold, I find are also bloody good value. Usually the amount of Writ vouchers you get for those is like really high for how much Rosen is. Now, there is one thing to make sure you understand with the enchanting Writs. There is one thing you must never, ever craft a sealed Writ for. If you see one that says craft a glyph of prismatic something, do not, under any circumstances, buy that and do it. Unless you want to really fucking waste a massive amount of money. Because these things here, these Hakejos, the item that makes prismatic stuff, these are like tens of thousands of gold each. They are fucking expensive. They're a pain in the ass to get. Yeah, just hold on to those, or just fucking don't use them. Like, it's bad. Very bad. Yeah, you got these ones here you could use. The only things you can't use is provisioning and alchemy, right? So these ones here, because they don't count as durables. Everything else does. So you've got 5 options. I don't understand why enchantment writs count as a durable, even though you consume them to put them on armor. It's never fucking made sense to me, but yeah, whatever. So if you're on PC, there's an add-on you can get. You can either get in some cases, you can get Dolgavon's Lazy Writcraft Creator, and that'll do it as well. But in any other case, the add-on called Writworthy can do the same thing. So these will actually craft these for you automatically, as long as you've got the quest accepted. Writworthy is even better, because this one, it brings up this. If you tick this, it will craft the items, and then all you have to do, like for you automatically, you don't have to do anything, just get to the station and it'll do it. And then what you do is, even if you've got like tons of these at once, you tick all these to queue them up, and then it will craft everything, and all you got to do is just go through and just keep accepting the writs over and over and hand them in. And you can just basically just hand everything in without having to go and craft everything one at a time. It's really helpful for that. With the addition of consoles starting to get add-on inclusion, that's going to be really fucking helpful too. Can't wait to just be able to say, just get add-ons, just fucking help with everything. So yeah, you can use that, but I'm pretty sure this the Dolgavon's add-on also does it now too, so I'll just do that. Oh yeah, I need the fucking Runestone, obviously, idiot. Alright. And yeah, it does it automatically for me. If you don't know what to use, you can use that Runestones USP page I just showed before with the Hakejo on it. I'll link that in the description. You can use that to just find out which runes you need in order to do one of those writs. So yeah, if you're really worried. Now, my advice for getting to the guy who gives you these to hand in, if you can, use the guy in Deshaan. So this house here, you can buy this for a couple of thousand gold, and it just means no matter where you are, even if you're in a guild hall, which you usually use to craft a bunch of these sealed writs anyway for the master crafting stations, this one here, you can travel outside of it, and it just means you're right next to the guy here. So this is the guy here, Rollis Lalu. The other place to find him, in Grotwood, you can find him here. I'm not a big fan of this one just because it's so fucking far away. And then Stormhaven, he's also up here. Again, I'm not a big fan of that spot either. I think you can find him in the DLC zones, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know. I've never bothered using this, so I wouldn't know. Let's travel to that house. This one here. Flaming Nyx Deluxe Garret, it's called. And then he says, none of us is getting any younger, you know.
You look ready to improve.
Oh no, never mind. He said something different for once. Holy shit. I was here! Okay, so now that that's done, we'll move on to the next one. We've got improving items. So just make sure you... It doesn't say how many you need here. It's weird. Again, I guarantee this was created by someone who's never done, like, a completely different person who normally does the endeavors, and just didn't have the same idea. It's weird. So 0 out of 2, so you just need 2 items here. So at worst, you're going to need 10 of the green style materials. Not style material, upgrade materials. You can get these from either blacksmithing, clothing, woodworking, or jewelry crafting. I suggest only these 2 because their green and blue items are pretty cheap. Blue items for woodworking are pretty cheap, but then everything else is basically a lot more expensive than they need to be. Hello? Oh yeah, sorry, I'll get that out of the way. So yeah, honing stone, 5 gold each, a full stack of that. That will last you tons upon tons of these add-ons, these endeavors, these upgrade items endeavors. So that would be perfect. So that's all you really need. 60 gold for fucking each for a honing stone. That's ridiculous. Don't ever purchase that. Or this 50 gold each. That's ridiculous. So yeah, that stuff there you could buy. There's also for the Dwarven oil and honing stone. These are the only two. Again, 15 gold. That's way too much. So look at this bit here. When you go to buy stuff like big clumps of stuff, always check the unit price. Don't worry about the total. The total could be low, but the unit price could be high, and that could be a fucking waste. So clothing, it's hemming and embroidery. These are here. These are both very cheap to get usually as well. So hemming, embroidery, and then Dwarven oil is also quite cheap. 14 gold though, that's still way too much. And then honing stone, same thing. I would only really go anything below 10 gold per unit for any of this stuff, because you can just get it cheaper in other places. The other ways of getting it is to refine items like this. If you're low level in the crafts, you'll have a lower chance of getting stuff. So if you've got a max level crafter, I would suggest doing that, using them. And usually you get, especially if you've got a lot of the passives in this one here. In all of them, it's the same. It's in the same spot. This one increases the amount of the chance you get of getting the upgrade materials, so you can use that. There's also the champion point I talked about yesterday, meticulous disassembly. That's really helpful. So hopefully yesterday, if you refined items, you might have some. Yeah, just check for that. But yeah, so you've also got the hirelings as well. So you've got the blacksmithing, clothing, and woodworking hirelings. These guys give you can give you upgrade items as well. So as you can see here, got some grain solvent, some turpin there. Some embroidery there, that's good. But you need a few. You need it like between, so it's 2 of the green stuff if you're max level, and then it's like more than that if you're not. So just go improving. Now, if you need an item, you can just take stuff or steal stuff. I'll show you where you can get a free item if you don't want to even craft an item. You can just like kill something, like get like a green item from them or some shit. But I'll just show you an easy way. So queue for Imperial City. It'll differ from Alliance, but in each of the places you should be able to find an item that you can use. So like, I could go over here, just grab a greatsword. They're not stolen, so you won't get a bounty for doing this. In other places, if you look in like these kinds of spots, you'll be able to find like a, look at this, jerkin. So that's perfect. So we've got a item for blacksmithing or an item for clothing. And again, like, it depends on the alliance where everything is, but you look around in the safe zones and you should be able to find some stuff for free. And then you just find the crafting stations in here. Usually it'll be around the fur, like the leather icon, like the tanning leather icon. You just go to that, go to the improvement tab, go to whatever item you got, and just upgrade it twice. So as you can see, because I have a high level crafter here, I can only use a few items to upgrade it. But yeah, that's what I suggest for that one. Will cost you a little bit, but not much compared to other stuff, and it's very fast to do. So when it comes to vampires, you've got quite a few places you can choose, but it just depends on where you want to go, basically. So there's one good instance area. I don't think there's any others. So in Western Skyrim, there is a dungeon here called Castle Thorn. There's I think it's Stone Thorn that you need? Yeah, Stone Thorn. This one here. It gives you access to Castle Thorn. This one here. So if you have this DLC, you can use Castle Thorn. This place has tons of vampires in it. In the very first area, there's like a couple that you can kill. The reason this is helpful is instance areas. Doesn't matter what's going on with other players. Anyone who's not in your group can't access the version of the dungeon that you're in. So what it'll mean is, no matter what's going on outside, no matter how many people are coming through and doing it, you will just be able to come in here, everything will be ready to go straight away, and it'll just mean that you're not waiting for shit to respawn like you are with stuff in the Overland. Now, that being said, there's places in the Overland, and some of these are like so populated with enemies that it's usually not a big deal. So I'll go through the options here. So you've got Rivenspire first up. getting to Rimspire, take the boatswain from Glenumbra with the starting wish run here. Go talk to Azufa here. It's the red guard lady in the middle with the dreadlocks. She'll take you to Stormhaven. When you're in Stormhaven, do the same thing. Take it to Rimspire. You rock up here. You can either go east into Moira's Hope over here. This has Blood Fiends. You can go west through here into Crestshade. This has Vampires. Or you can go southwest over here, just east of the Tamrith camp. Over here, there's some more vampires. There's not many in this location, but this one's usually not used a lot by people. You can use this waste run too when you get access to it. Same with over here, you got these other waste runs, but if you've never been here, that's your option. So yeah, I usually find these places here, I find are fucking really used. Maybe not Moira's Hope as much as Crestshade, but definitely this one's usually pretty good. Now, you can also use Cold Harbour. This is another good option. The only issue is you have to do a lot of the main quests in order to get access to Cold Harbour. Instead, you can go to Home Tours and look up the Cold Harbour Cyrodiil estate. This one here. Sorry, this one. If you travel to this and then exit the home, it will put you in Cold Harbour, and then you'll unlock the Waste Run. You can just use it from that point. The only issue is, I don't think you can access this door until you also progress the questline in Cold Harbour, but that's okay. There's two options here. So if you've done the questline, you've got the Orchid. This area here has tons of vampires in it. You can use them, just not the Harvesters. The Harvesters are considered dangerous. So the big, like, snake scorpion ladies, don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with them. They're not worth anything. And then the Black Forge here. This area, the first room inside the gate, it's over here. You have to go through the lava. There's little platforms that you can jump in the lava. The first room has tons of vampires in it as well, so you can use that as well. That's usually the place I use if every other fucking place is overrun with players. Unless you go to Spellscar. Now, these Spell Fiends at Spellscar, if you can find some, these ones here, this one, they are considered vampires. They are basically Blood Fiends, just with a different color palette. So what you want to do is around these big rocks, these like spear rocks, these will spawn a big group of these guys here, the Spell Fiends. So all you got to do is just run around, look around at these things here, hop on your horse if you need to. Eventually, a big clump of these guys will respawn at one of these big rock sticks. You can also just kill them at these areas here. There's usually a couple. Oh yeah, here we go. So the good thing about this is you literally just need to attack them. Even if you don't kill them, it still counts. Just kill these guys here, and then just leave. There's a lot of people here that are XP farming. Just keep that in mind. So you don't want to just go through and obliterate heaps of these, because yeah, these guys get a bit temperamental with that, which is understandable. That being said, XP grinding in places like this kind of weird. I prefer Dolmens myself, but anyway. So that's what I'd suggest for vampires. So Instance area, Castle Thorn, you can look that up. It is quite a difficult advanced DLC dungeon though. Even on normal, it's not the easiest thing to do, especially if you're on your own. But the initial enemies aren't too bad. Compared to something like Falkreath Hold, I think it's easier. So yeah, those are your options. Alright, now let's talk about Antiquities. You need the Greymoor DLC to get access to these, unfortunately. Otherwise, you just can't. Or, obviously, ESO Plus. So, to start up your Antiquities, you need to come here to the Antiquarian Circle in Greymoor. In Western Skyrim, in Solitude. When you get in here, you just got to talk to Verita Numida, this lady here. She'll give you a quest. It's a very easy quest to get through at the start. All you do is talk to her. You'll have to come over here to where this thing is. You interact with that, and then just talk to her again, and you'll complete it. Now, after that, you've got this quest here as well, which is like a tutorial on doing Antiquities. I would highly advise that you do this quest next, because one, this will count as one Antiquity, and two, it explains Antiquities. So it's not the most simple thing, especially early on. But there are, if you just want to get through it quick, there are some things that I'll just go through quickly to at least give you the, I think, the most important stuff to know. So firstly, you want to find a really small zone. Something like Bleakrock Isle, Balfoyan, Strosbakaya. Artaeum is usually a pretty common one, this one here, but I prefer like Balfoyan and shit like that. Personal preference, really. Alright, so before you do anything, go to your inventory, go to Quick Slots, go to Tools up here, put the Antiquarian's Eye on your Quick Slot bar. Believe me, this will help you so fucking much in the long run, or just in any antiquity in general, really. Right, so you unlock the excavation and the scrying skill lines. TLDR, excavation, pretty much everything is useful unless you just want to get this excavation antiquity done. In that case, nothing really matters here. Scrying, coalescence, scribe's patience, coalescence, and future focus. These three here are fucking really good. These two here, Dilation and Farsight, in my opinion, you don't need them. Don't put any points in these. They're good, but like Coalescence is just as good, if not better than any of them, and they all use the same thing. They use a Magicka charge. So these will prevent you from being able to use a Coalescence. Coalescence, in my opinion, is just better. Preemptive Power is good too, but yeah, these four skill points here, not necessary. But yeah, Sky's Patience, Coalescence, Future Focus, Preemptive Power, all good, and pretty much everything in Legend Main, Excavation is really good. Just understand that they do different things and they work different ways. Augur, setting this to level 2 can be really helpful later on for Mythics. Everything here can be really helpful. But Handbrush and Trowel, honestly, is all you really need for doing like yeah, look, everything here is really helpful, I think. Especially Excavator's Reserves for later on. Okay, so now we get into it. So you go to Journal, J-Key, Antiquities Codex. You'll always, in these small zones here, you'll always have a green one that you can do. You can do this an infinite amount of times, and this is the only one I would suggest doing for this Antiquities, just because it's easy. Now, early on, as soon as you start this off, this will be quite shit to do. Sometimes you just get really shit rolls of this stuff here. Basically, you get this thing here, and you've got to connect it to these swirly thingamabobs here. And you do that by connecting all of these symbols of the same type, and you basically expire them, and they travel out. Now, the issue here is you've only got a certain amount of attempts, and you've got to get all 6 of these, otherwise it's just like a pain in the ass otherwise. So I'm just going to waste time here. Coalescence will just make this easy. So I'll show you what happens if you don't get all of them. So I've missed this one here. What this does is it puts down 2 dig sites. So you've got this dig site here and this dig site here. The issue here is one of these is actually a dig site that doesn't have what you need. So you could go there, go through and just waste your time. So you don't really want to do that in an endeavor. So what you can do is just do it again. That's what I suggest doing. So I'll go this one because it already unlocks 2. This one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we got away with it that time. Alright, so now I've got all 6 of these whirly things. So this time, it will take away this fake dig site, and now you've got the only dig site that matters. So now we go over with our horsey. Oh. Rule of thumb, always get Columbine if you see it. These things are redonkulously expensive even now. Once the compass goes like that light blue color, what you want to do is go to your quickslots, go to Enter Current's Eye, and press the quickslot button. It will create this like little effect here, and it will point you in the direction of where you can find this antiquity. Really bloody helpful for finding this thing. Otherwise, you're just running around not knowing where the hell it is. Just basically taking a shot in the dark. There it is, there. So once you get close, it will make this like sparkling effect, and it always looks like this. Depends on the zone, but yeah, it always looks like something similar to that. It's just like a dirt mound. Yeah, once you've done it enough, you'll know what it looks like from far away. Okay, so easiest way to do this is process of elimination. So you start here. This is like the hot and cold thing. The more green it gets, the closer you are to the item. So this white area here highlights where it is. So I want to move over here. So going through these 2, this area up here is the only place it can be. So what I'll do is I'll go over here. So we know it's not in any of this location. So it can only be basically here. So somewhere here maybe? Nope. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so found it. So there it is. So now we just dig through. We get the handbrush. On green ones, it's super easy once you've found the item. Doing the scry is the only really annoying bit early on for green ones. So that's it. Now you can just go through, dig as many as you want until you get an extra item there, maybe. Not always, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just extra shit. So once you see this, you can go through and read the lore on what the item is. There's some cool stuff. But if you just want to do the endeavor, that's all you really need to do. Now, for the endeavor, you just need to do that twice. So all you do now is just go back to journal. You can, if you're a higher level in antiquities, you can do the blue one. You don't have to though. You can just do the green one again. So you just double click on it again, go into the scrying menu, and just do your scrying again. So just go through, you know, for example, just go these ones, this one. I got really fucking lucky on that one. So get another one, and that comes up on the map. Just go do the same thing, get there, use the antiquity here, Antiquarian's Eye, and just go find your item. Hot and cold, as soon as you see where it's green, dig it out, and just dig like crazy. Once you've got the item out, those 6 spots around the little safe box item, that's it. Even if you, like, no matter what happens after that, you've got the item. So, unless you exit prematurely, obviously. Alright, so I'll talk about the last one, Killer Player in Cyrodiil. This is the least reliable one. It's not too bad. The only issue is, because it's only Cyrodiil, you're like, it splits up the like viable number of players that you can do this with. Whereas like Battlegrounds, it'd be way easier, because you get into Battlegrounds, players are like very easy to find, because this you're confined to a tiny area. Whereas Cyrodiil is this entire fucking zone, you know. So, and in some cases you might get to a campaign and there's so many enemy players that you just can't really do anything. Blah blah blah. But TLDR, I'll put in the description the build, like the build start I usually use for my just like general PvP. If you don't know how the build works, it might not be great, and my advice is to look through like people who explain PvP. TLDR, have a lot of health, at least 30,000, possibly 35,000, I would say. Have a lot of burst. Consistent damage is good in PvE, but in PvP, burst damage is king, because players react. Players can fight back to what you're doing, and they will try and heal your consistent damage, and that will usually work because healing is consistent as well. Whereas burst damage, if you hit them so hard they can't react to anything, basically that's how you win fights. Obviously, it's not as simple as that. Other players do the same thing, so you gotta stop the enemy from doing the same at the same time. So, and you know, outnumbered PvP is quite the fucking challenge too. Now, if you just want to come in and just follow a group around, that's another way. My advice to you there is just get like a healer character. Just go lots of health and just run around light attacking enemy players and just trying to heal your allies. Just understand, usually healers are the first focused, because they're usually the ones who keep everybody else alive. If you kill the healer, everybody else starts dying. So that's just something to keep in mind. Though can be great if you're not good at killing people, because if you're good at taking attention, that's a great way to help your team out. Even if you're not good at fighting other players, you can be good at dealing with the damage. So that can be something worth noting. Now, I will just point out something. If I go to step browser, item browser. I'll go through a couple of steps. So Rallying Cry is a general really good like main proc set that you run in PvP, because if you get crit resistance, which is good, weapon and spell damage, which is good. Weapon and spell damage affects healing, so regardless of everything going on, that's just great. So that's usually it's usually like the straightforward like starter setup that you want to use for PvP. And then if you want to heal, Transmutation is one I highly suggest trying to get your hands on, because you basically make allied players around you just take no crit damage, like bonus crit damage. Really helpful for dealing with burst, but this set's a pain in the ass to get nowadays anyway. You can just use Order's Wrath if you're not sure. It's an easy to get crafted set. Increase your crit damage and healing. Crit damage is good for burst. Crit healing is good for dealing with enemy bursts. So, you know, that's another straightforward option. Other than that, yes, I mean, keeping it simple, you could also use Wretched Vitality to really up your sustain, because sustain is also important in PvP. That's just some basic stuff. Now, what you do in that case is just run around, just use heals, like some good heals to use. For stamina, you'd use Resolving or Echoing Vigor for yourself and for others. If you're in I'll talk about Siege soon, I'll talk about that later. But like restoration stuff, you can use things like rapid regen for like burst healing. You can use Ward. I think Healing Ward. I'm not sure how good Ward is in PvP, but the other options I don't think are as good, because players move a lot more in PvP. Panacea is a pretty... Light's Champion is fucking amazing, honestly. I love this thing. Because it basically just makes it really hard to kill someone, and they also get way more damage, way more burst, which, you know, for a player, that could really turn the tide in some cases. So that's sort of thing I'd use there. Scribing is really helpful. Like, using scribing skills can be really helpful, but that takes some getting sorted. The other option is siege. So if you get to a keep and it's under attack, like if you travel to that keep, for example, and it was a successful defense, you could put some siege down and try and shoot the enemies and deal a bunch of damage to them. And if you're lucky, either someone else is sieging them at the same time and they'll take a bunch of damage and die, or you'll hit someone that's under attack by an enemy player, like by another player that's actually attacking them, like directly, and they might die that way. So that could work, because all you have to do in this, you don't actually have to kill them yourself. You just have to assist in the kill. Even if it's not like your own kill yourself, even if like 20 players attack the same one enemy and kill them, that will count for everybody, I believe. So yeah, I suggest doing that. Fuck trying to kill someone on your own. That's ridiculous. So yeah, siege is great. Firebolt ballistas, you can buy these on guild stores for cheap. You can also buy them from siege vendors. Where's the siege vendor here? This person here, for example. You can buy them from siege vendors for 750 gold each. So you go down here, you can find them here. You can also get firepot trebuchets, though those are harder to use, I think, than ballistas. But you can use them in places that you wouldn't be able to use ballistas, that being said. And if you're sieged and the enemy is sieging as well, just consider Siege Shield. This can really help your team survive when getting shot by fucking heaps of shit. Obviously, there's only so much you can handle, but yeah, just that could help. Last thing, you will likely encounter ball groups if you do PvP enough. At this point in time, personally, I think they are just way too fucking powerful these days to be able to deal with. You'll notice them just by... It's just a tight stack of players that just stack heal vigor themselves like crazy, and it's just practically impossible to kill any of them unless you've got like a ball group of your own. If you see those and they take a keep, there's nothing really that you can do at this point. So just ignore them, try and go somewhere else and try and kill other players that way, or go to a different campaign maybe. Just understand, PvP on your own is rough if you don't know what you're doing. It's a steep learning curve, but it's very exciting. It's never the same any of the days, even on like low pop stuff. So it's always that to look forward to. But yeah, not my cup of tea, but it is some people's, and that's good. Alright, so if you got any questions about any of this stuff, as always, just let me know. But for now, that's daily's done. Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time, and I need a glass of water.